Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome to Wildcast Studios for on Rogers TV for another episode of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats, presented by Alpha's Appliance Solutions, the premier destination for all your KitchenAid, Maytag, and Whirlpool appliances in Moncton. Right now, KitchenAid built-in savings event. Save $600 when you purchase any 3, $800 when you purchase any 4, or $1,200 when you purchase 5 or more qualifying KitchenAid appliances. Qualifying purchases must be made until today. If you want that or any other deals, go to appliancesolutions.ca. As always, finishers, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. YQM, Mr. Christmas Starbucks today, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. How was your weekend?
Pretty good,
Yeah.
Spent it at the rink.
Spent it at the rink. We did, yeah.
Friday night and
Saturday night. Almost all day Saturday, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll find out why later, why you're at the rink early on Saturday. But no, other than that, pretty laid back. Got some time to relax. It's March break. Didn't need an alarm set this week. Get to sleep in.
Oh yeah, I guess Avery's home. Yeah.
So it's good times.
How's Megan?
She's doing good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything's tracking well?
I was informed that it's official.
Uh-oh.
I cannot go to the Memorial Cup. She took out the ball and chain and finally laid down the hammer on me and said she would not be very impressed.
That doesn't mean you can't go. That just means she's not going to be very impressed.
Well, yeah, I know. Wouldn't be very impressed if I leave her for a day or two to go to Quebec.
So when is your son due?
June the 3rd. Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday, eh? And the final Sunday.
Yeah. So that's okay.
If they get there, there's no way you're not going to be there.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, I'll have to. We've got some time. We got some time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll win this argument though.
That's a tough one to win.
Yeah. I told her I was still going to apply for a media pass in case I
100%.
happen to make a one-day trip for one specific game.
Yeah.
So that's
this is when we've been working 8 years, this is the payoff. And so I hope you can get there. I hope that she, I don't want to say sees the light, but I hope that the little man stays in there for pretty much till his due date or comes out like a week early and you're able to get away for that one day.
Well, she said even if she would be even more offended if it was already born and I went to Quebec. So
oh no.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let
Layla talk to her.
Yeah. I just told her you have the baby in Quebec.
What's wrong with
free
that?
healthcare?
Yeah. Have it anywhere you want. I'm sure Rimouski's got great hospitals.
Oh yeah. Some of the finest doctors in all of Quebec.
Absolutely.
But no, that was kind of I was a little upset at the time, but I'm over it.
Yeah. I'm not. I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I won't get you in more trouble. Big news here, though. Big news here. We're out of newborn diapers.
Oh,
yeah. We are waiting. We are big enough to be out of newborn. Happened actually Monday afternoon, and I was quite sad about it because I'm like, that's the next stage.
Yep.
I mean, good on her. We haven't officially weighed her in a while. But I stood on the scale and got a certain number, and then I gave her to Layla and stood on the scale and got a different number, and then minus the 2. Mm-hmm. We're about 9.5 unofficially, so almost 10 pounds. Yep. Which kid eats 24 hours a day. I'd say she probably eats 9 of those and then sleeps the other 9 and is awake for 4 or 5 hours. Like it is crazy how much she's eaten. But yeah, no, we are into size 1.
There you go.
So
it only goes up from here.
It only goes up unless you continue to have another one. And that's fun conversations. She told her mom that the other day. She's like, so Adam wants another one. I was like, no, hang on. That's he does if it was a boy, but not really because the newborn stage is. I don't know if I could do it at 40. I guess I'd be 45 probably because it'd be another year and a half or so. So yeah, I don't need to be in a walker. I don't need to be in a walker when they're graduating high school.
I'm already getting gray hairs on my chin here, so
Luckily, I've not gotten there yet. I got a few. They stick out. There's a few of them in there, but Elimination Chamber.
Wow. Yeah.
That is one of the fact that you stayed up for that was shocking.
Well, look, I had just gotten home from the game.
That's true. It did go to overtime. That helped us.
It's fortunate when the game goes to overtime and you come home and it's, the main event is still on.
Yeah.
Right. I think I turned on Netflix and that was in Logan Paul was getting eliminated.
Yeah.
So I had that kind of the perfect time, and yeah, wow.
Well, and they were supposed to be on, like, I saw a tweet before the hockey game started that it was like the women's elimination chamber and then the tag match. And then it was supposed to be Rock and Cody. And then it was going to be Kevin and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was going to be the main event. Thank God it was not that order, because I don't think the rest of the show would have been the pop it was.
Yeah. I honestly, everyone's been talking about John Cena since Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know who won the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match because I've seen nothing about it. It's all John Cena.
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
It's Kevin Owens.
Okay, well that's fair.
And then Randy Orton come back out.
Randy
Orton showed up. Just about gave Kevin Owens the kick to the head.
Right.
And then they stopped that. So that's setting up that WrestleMania because he took him out with the pile driver.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were watching the women's elimination chamber up in the booth while we weren't watching it. It was on because the hockey game was it was a little slower. And then as it got a little bit better, which we'll talk about, we stopped watching wrestling and started watching hockey. But I mean, the women's elimination chamber with Jade Cargill coming back after being attacks Naomi while Bianca's stuck in the pod. It was just a great pay-per-view from start to finish, and I don't remember the last time I enjoyed a pay-per-view like that from start to finish. And I went back and watched I didn't watch the Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus tag match, but I went back and watched Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and then I literally, like, I'm stumbling for words because that's what I was like on Saturday night. Like, I couldn't believe that John Cena had sold his soul to The Rock.
I told Megan, I was like, you know what? I might finally get back into wrestling now that John Cena is heel turned, because it's something that you've wanted to see for 10,
20
15, 20 years, and it's just never happened. And some of the memes, the content that have come out since then, it's so good. I mean, the one where it's that scene when Brock Lesnar is pushing, someone in a wheelchair down a set of stairs and saying that's John Cena, to a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid. Like, look, we don't support that.
No.
But it's just, that's how kind of unexpected this whole heel turn, John Cena heel turn was.
Spoiler alert for anyone who didn't watch it, but I don't know what you're not.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's an easy way to get it now.
It was the point where I thought Cody Rhodes was going to, because I just couldn't see John Cena finally doing it in his last kind of kick at the can, which was I'm still in shock that it actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the content that's been out is just, we've been sharing it back and forth with each other because it's just fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I get it. There's no point coming back for your last run and just doing what you've always done. WWE's already trademarked break the wish instead of make the wish for him. Wow. I mean, I shared a video with an interview with Chris Van Vliet back in, I think it was 2022 or something like that, and he had almost heel turned in 2011 when The Rock and him fought at WrestleMania, the first one. That was going to be a heel turn. He hit, and in the interview he says, I had new music, I had new gear, I had I knew everything. I was ready to heel turn, but it just never happened. And like 2 years ago, Chris looks at him and is like, you telling me we could have lived in a world with Rock and John Cena being heels? Like what kind of craziness is that? And now we live in that world. And the worst part about it is now Cena goes off to make a movie for a month and a half, and then he'll come back to do his 3-week thing for build up for WrestleMania. But you want to talk about a boring WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania? I think this is going to, like, it was the number one topic to start off. Pardon my take on ESPN today.
That's how big it is.
Yeah,
like it's. I mean, what we're still,
and I don't think it's done. I think we're going to see a Seth. I think Seth is a corporate.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see a Seth join that. Like, from what I saw, one tweet was like, "Why did The Rock do the throat slash with 2 fingers?" So he had, when he first come out, he counted 1, 2, and then he counted 3 like this, and that's John Cena's thing that he always does. So looking back, you see that now. Then when he did the throat slash, it was 2 fingers. Well, that's okay. Is that 3, 2? What's the one left? And I think it's going to be Seth. And I think that's once Cena's kind of got his title, I think Seth gets in that group and can feud with CM Punk. But now you have heel John Cena against babyface Orton, babyface Punk, babyface Rhodes in his final run. And
good.
Man,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I mean, we're gonna finish this up, and Raw's gonna be on, and it's gonna be the talk of.
Yeah, we are not a wrestling podcast, but man, we could get there if we wanted to.
Off season.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Road to SummerSlam podcast with Adam and Jimmy on Rogers TV.
Megan's like, you can't go to the Memorial Cup when we have a newborn. Cool. I'm going to do a new podcast in the summer, too. It's going to be 365 or 52 weeks a year. I'm going to go to that house and do a different show. Yeah, I went and watched some of those reactions, and those were fun to watch because literally nobody. And what was Travis Scott doing there?
Smoking a blunt, apparently.
Slapping Cody Rhodes for real.
Smoking a joint in the ring at the Rogers Center.
Yeah. Like, I'm all for.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm all for celebrities being part of WWE. They've been there for years, and WrestleMania and all this, and Logan Paul's and Unreal in the ring. Say what you will about him, but what? Like, I saw one. It's like, I can't believe we see this picture, and it's The Rock, John Cena, and Travis Scott. But like, what? Just don't understand it. I know that wrestling and media and music, and he's one of the biggest artists, but good Lord, I don't know what that was.
I don't even
couldn't tell you a single Travis Scott song.
He's got that fiend that all the kids love, and I'm like, you're saying one word. Fiend. It's not, I mean, it's not as good as mustard. Yeah, they played that a couple times at the Avenir Center, and all of a sudden I hear mustard. And I'm like, oh, that's a Kendrick Lamar. Did you watch the Oscars? No. I couldn't tell you. I mean,
I watched two. I
don't know. I didn't know any of the movies.
No. Like, I watched probably about half hour, 20 minutes last night, just while we were waiting for our kid to wake up.
My Sunday nights are Tracker.
Yeah.
PBR. And Suits LA.
Oh, did you watch the original Suits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Kind of like, does it tie right into it?
You can't beat the original Suits.
No, but if you start Suits LA, do you have to watch Suits to get a backstory, or can you just start Suits LA?
No, you can start Suits LA. Yeah.
Yeah, she watches Tracker. Well, she PBRs it, but we watched about a half hour of that. And one of the Conan O'Brien jokes, like, he was pretty good. One of them was, if you go too long, we're just going to show a disappointed, not angry, but disappointed picture of John Lithgow. And John Lithgow's just like that. And then the other one was like, all right, well, we're halfway through the Oscars, so we're going to have Kendrick Lamar come out and talk about Drake again, or cut down Drake, or something like that again, just randomly. Do you know Drake was at Elimination Chamber?
Yes, I did.
And didn't get announced.
Yeah.
They didn't mention one thing about him. So,
let's talk hockey.
Let's talk hockey. As always, don't forget you can follow us on the social medias for all these kind of takes. Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, TikTok Wildcast Podcast as well on the YouTube. Don't forget to like and smash the subscribe button. Lets us know you like what we're doing. Click the bell so you don't miss any podcast post games as we get closer to the playoffs. And who knows, maybe when they're on the road trip, we might do a watch with us.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, that'd
we'll
be
see.
good one to watch. Yeah.
Oh, last time we did that in Chicoutimi, it didn't really work out for us. But hey, new year, new us.
That's right.
All right, let's get to the news and notes.
News and notes from around the Q.
You know who else was at Elimination Chamber? Trevor Georgie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I messaged him on that. He hasn't got back to me, but I showed Layla because he had the picture of the ring, and then his wife obviously panned the camera, and he's holding his daughter. And I showed that to Layla, and I was like, Trevor Georgie went, and his kid is like a month and a half older than ours.
Yeah.
I think he was in a suite. I couldn't tell if he was in a suite or if he was in something, but I literally messaged right off that. Well, my wife wouldn't let me.
so him, Travis Crickard, are huge wrestling fans. And apparently Mateo Mann is a huge wrestling fan as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So apparently Travis Crickard was on a scouting trip over the weekend. So it makes me wonder if he was at scouting Elimination Chamber.
Show the camera, but don't show me. Don't show me. Oh, yeah. So next time you're going, Trevor.
Yep. Let us know.
We're in. All right. News and notes from around the Q presented by Integrity Lawn Care. Check them out on Instagram or give them a call 506-866-8218 or email them at integritylawncare@hotmail.com. Players of the month were announced. A couple Wildcats were on that list. What do we got here? Forward of the month, Maxime Massé from Chicoutimi, 10 games, 13 goals, 7 assists for 20 points, and a plus 16. Honorable mention to Noah Reinhardt from Val-d'Or, 10 games, 6 goals, 13 assists, 19 points, and a plus 11. Defenseman of the month, Dylan Gill of Moncton, 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points in 10 games, and a plus 13. Honorable mention was Chicoutimi's. There we go. Honorable mention was Chicoutimi's Alex Wang. 1 goal, 12 assists for 13 points in those 10 games. Goaltender of the month, Rudy Guimont. 7-0, a 1.26 goals against average, and a .956 save percentage with 2 shutouts, both against the Cape Breton Eagles. And Felix Hamel, who we didn't get to see this past weekend, but I feel we'll get to see him this weekend coming up. Also 7-0, a 2.19 goals against average, and a .933 save percentage. Rookie of the month.
My guy.
Your guy. Medvedev Gradin. And every time I go down to see what it is, it doesn't give me his stats.
That's okay.
They're
good. Good stats.
Yeah, they're good stats. There we are. 6 games, 4 goals, 7 assists, and 11 points, and a plus 5. Honorable mention, Basil Semenons from Rimouski.
Vasily
Semenons.
Semenella?
Sam Swanson swimming Samsonite from Rimouski. One goal, 5 assists in the 10 games with a plus 7. Doesn't seem like we got a Q team of the week or Q player of the week, but you know what we do have?
It's now time for the one and only Boucher's team of the week.
I went back and watched that like 4 or 5 times, just watching your reaction on that.
I actually came prepared. I actually have a full team of the week because I made that promise last week on the show to, make sure I wasn't playing shorthanded, knowing that I have my own theme music now.
We got the 2 points in overtime. Now we're 5-5.
That's right. All right, so we're gonna kick it off. So on the forward group, Felix Lessert from Shawinigan, 6 points in 3 games to bring his season total to 69. Nice. Secondly, Cam Squires, Cam the Man, as he's known in Cape Breton, 5 points in 2 games against St. John for his 3rd season in a row with 60-plus points. That was my MVP pick. Might be a little off this year, but that's okay.
He's the one of only 2 players to do that, with Chris Cullen.
Chris Culligan is right.
Cape Breton Eagles report, CIBE Insider. Yeah. Chris Culligan and Squires, only players in franchise history to have 3 seasons with 60 points. Well, at least 60 points.
And, of course, we're going to Moncton. Marcus Vidicek really lighting it up, as we said earlier, since being named captain. His OT game-winning goal against Blainville was his 30th career power play goal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go. On the defense, Brandon Della Rosebilt was called up by Sherbrooke from the Livy Chevaliers.
Okay.
Scored his first career goal, plus added 2 assists. Also committed to the University of Nebraska in Omaha last week. So he had a good week. And friend of the show, Jacob Gucci.
Yes.
Finally scored his first and then later his second QMJHL goals against Chicoutimi in a 7-3 victory.
Did he get a star?
First star.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they pick stars when they have good games. Yeah. Okay. They don't just pick randomly. No. Okay, cool.
Okay. And in goal, even though he allowed 3 goals against us, Riley Mercer, his shutout against Charlottetown, get this, his 10th career shutout, but his 5th this season.
Yeah.
Bonkers. There you go. And that is the Boucher team of the week. The one and only.
The one and only. Well done. That was a good team.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
that's a good team there. You want to get to this quite important guest that we had?
Oh, yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot about that.
We can get to him.
Yeah.
Let's get to him right now.
Yeah.
View from the other bench.
All right, it's not so much a view from the other bench, but the biggest bench as we are here and pleased to be joined by the Commissioner of the QMJHL, Mario Cecchini. Welcome to Moncton. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
I guess the first question I have as we approach the Memorial Cup, have you had
sold out, guys?
Yeah. Have you had any chats with the OHL and the WHL commissioners on the rules, particularly with the fighting? I know there may not be fights in the Memorial Cup, but is it our rules here because it's in Quebec?
So you're asking me if we had chats? We had hours of chats. Technically speaking, so people understand the rules, there's many rules that are not the same in the 3 leagues. 99% of the time, there's 2 leagues that have the same rule. So that would be the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
That rule would apply. We are having a discussion around the fight rule because it's just not, no, it's not high. It's not a normal, let's put it, it's very visible.
Yeah.
And it's a distinctive rule that we put in last year. So we'll see what comes out of it. I think we're discussing it. For now, it's the same rule. So it would be a 5-minute because the 2 other leagues have a 5-minute rule and no ejection from the game. But we're having discussion around maybe should we relook at that? And it doesn't come necessarily from the Quebec fight rule, but the past 2 years, to your point, we're not talking about, it should not be blown out of proportion because last year, 9 games, 1 fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The year before, 9 games, 1 fight. And I'm told the 2 years before, no fights.
Okay.
So 2 fights on 36 games. Say it's a game 7, just like us, even back in the days when the fight rule on that changed. We have about an average of 70 playoff games. And I think last year there was 1 fight in the playoffs, and the year before, no fights in the playoffs. So it's not as if we're talking about a big thing here.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's fights.
Yeah.
So it's sensitive to a lot of people. So that's why we are seeing if there's something because last year, if you remember, there was 1 fight. TSN jumped on the ice. If you remember, there was a lot of flack around there. The way it was covered like an event and a boxing match, and not everybody appreciated that. And I'm not talking about Quebec, they're like all over.
Yeah.
So that brings a lot of conversation. So we'll see where it ends up. We should be in a possibility to announce that, I hope, before the end of March. In that sense. So because we need to bring the chatter to an end,
right?
Make a call.
We're getting close to the end of the regular season. Playoffs right around the corner. Yeah. As of today, we've got 12 teams qualified for the playoffs. Last year, at this point, there were 6 qualified. The year prior to that, 5. Why do you think we're so far ahead of schedule this season?
Well, I think first of all, the teams. I think if you correct me if I'm wrong, I think I checked this week. We have actually 12 teams above 500, which is a little bit above average usually. Again, you can check the math. And I've been told repeatedly, I didn't check it. So please fact check me. I don't want to be associated with Donald Trump. I want my facts to be clear. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know what's going to happen. But so So maybe that explains it. We have an equilibrium that is really tough this year. We have 5 or 6 teams that are are legitimate, and the proof is at the Christmas break. It's not like a really, really busy trade wise. Some teams traded up, but which usually means that you believe in your team and you believe that in a short series in a tournament, anything can happen, right? So there's always that. Everybody's reminded of the St. Louis Blues of 2019, on January 3rd, we're 32nd in the league and end up winning the Stanley Cup. So that's the essence of sports. So to me, it's good news.
And I guess when it comes to the playoff seedings, right now it's all conference matchups, like 1 to 8.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that, or would you rather like to maybe go back to a 1 versus 16?
Where do you guys get your information? It's as if you're in our meetings.
There's always a fly on the wall.
If I'm comfortable with that, and because I like to answer questions, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Do I recognize that there's what's the expression I try to use? Many ways to skin a cat. A cat. I learned that expression recently. English still being my second language. So I do say I could live. If you propose to me personally, there's multiple models that I can live with. So we actually turn to the GMs and have those conversations, and the coaches and the owners obviously ultimately will vote on it. But could it change? Probably. There's good discussions around that right now. We have an assembly of members on March 13th when all these new rules, if we want to change some rules, that's when they're voted in. So you will know soon enough. I'm assuming that if we finish the meeting at 1, you will know at 12:30 probably if something has changed or not. But that's probably where that's for sure on the agenda. But it shouldn't be a surprise to you guys because it's on the agenda every year.
Right.
I'm told I've been here. It's like my 3rd meeting of that nature, and it's been there it's my 3rd meeting. It's been there 3 times. So it's probably there before I was, and the league did change some of this stuff. So we'll see where we end up. There's a compromise to be had probably because travel is a concern. And joking aside, depending what the hell happens with the tariffs and all of that, what will affect. So everybody's really sensitive around the cost issue for everybody. So it's not a question of being cheap. It's a question of not spending money that we don't really have to. So, could things move? Maybe, but it's going to be decided in March.
We have a couple rule changes, but we'll keep those later because we got some other questions to get
for me of what we'll do actually.
I guess obviously the biggest change this year was the NCAA CHL rule that came through with 35 new players in the queue.
Yes.
Obviously, just how excited are you to see this rule progress? Do you have any idea which avenue this will go in terms of just bringing more eyes south of the border to the CHL, which is one of the greatest leagues that feeds into the NHL? Just how excited are you with the minimal change we saw and what it could be moving forward?
Well, I tend to be an optimist, so I'm very optimistic. First of all, you mentioned it, 35 players coming on. When I got the job, I heard a lot of slack, and then I came in at the same time as the fight rule. So everybody was making all these, putting stuff together that doesn't belong together, that 2 years after we've proven numbers wise now, it's not a debate anymore, that there's more people in the stands. So all that came about. And then you have, skeptics, that this will hurt us. I don't think so. I think that, first of all, 35 guys coming around just shows, to the point I was making, that people were not going around the queue because of the queue. They wanted to study in Division 1.
Yeah.
That's fine. They had no choice. Now they have a choice. The equivalent of 2 teams, guys. 35 players is 2 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the odd guy here and there. Now, the big question that you were probably going to ask as a follow-up is, what about the 19-year-olds? Are we going to lose some of the 19-year-olds? I'm not one that sees an exodus.
Mm-hmm.
I think the players, the agents, the parents will be thinking how important that 19-year is. You often wear a letter on your sweater. That's when you play 15 to 20 minutes a game. You learn to be a leader.
Yep.
In your path of the player. That year is crucial. Do you want to sacrifice it to go back to be 16 again, quote unquote, with all due respect, of course, in a league of men, So you really have to be top 6 at the tender age. And those guys will probably be drafted. And you know our rules. You have 2 years if you're an NHL team to sign our guys.
Yeah.
So often our guys are drafted, they will be signed within those 2 years. So there's no going to the NCAA by default.
Mm-hmm.
So the top guys I'm not too worried about. Is there one or two that could be lured away? Maybe. Everybody has their own opinion and their own path, and maybe it's better for them. That's where I am right now. But to your point, you would have somebody else sitting here, and there's probably 5, 6, 7 different point of views. And right now, they're all fair. This is like in September, everybody wins the Memorial Cup in September. It's no issue. Yeah. You're good on paper. We'll see the consequences of all of that. But I tend to think that's going to be, first of all, it's ultra positive 16, 18, 19. The one we all agree that Europeans right now that were saying, well, don't draft me in the CHL because I'm already committed to NCAA. Mm-hmm. Well, these guys now become available.
Yeah.
At 16, the guys who would make those decisions, they're all nobody. There's no more obstacles to playing in the queue. There's just no more obstacles. Right. So it's up to us to be attractive to the best of the best. And when I look at you may have seen our advertising campaign that we just did here with CTV Atlantic, and we had social all over and
foundation.
We have the moms, but we have the mothers talking about the experience of their players, which is a different way of approaching it. But I mean, they said it, not me, how positive it is. And to your point, it's still 40% of the NHL comes from Canada. So I have all the reasons in the world to be up. I really believe in what we do, and we're working hard to make it better on every front all the time. So to me, it's I got to say it's more looking good. I'm not naive. I know there's things we'll need to adjust and react to, but to me, it's not a disaster at all. It's mostly good news.
Perfect. You've only been on the job for 3 years, but when you see guys like Crosby and McKinnon and Marchand representing Canada on the road stage of the Four Nations, QMJHL alumni, what does that do for the league?
It's unbelievable what it does. I mean, for me to be able to say that, arguably, a lot of people said we just witnessed the best hockey in a long, long time because we haven't had any Olympics and all of that. So it's truly best on best. And the best player of the tournament is a Q alumni. Yeah. What can we say about Crosby? Like the captain of the team, without any hesitation, it's going to be Crosby. And then Brad Marchand booed in his own building, though. That was funny. But when I see this picture that we actually we have a newsletter to parents, and we actually put the picture of the three guys with the trophy. So that's how proud we are. So the only thing missing on that picture is I wish one of them would have had a little, QMJHL logo just hanging around. But that's literally, and then specifically here, like they're all Nova Scotia and Maritime guys, so it's even more proud. But I know for us it's great things. Although I'm just to say that I'm glad to report, and if you allow me the segue, I've had about not exaggerating 6 or 7 teams that I had good sit down, and NHL teams that I sat down with either in Montreal during Nations Cup or in Boston. And guys, I'm happy to report it's no issue with our league. And I asked the question, no, tell me that, like, nobody needs to be nice to me, like who I am, right? I'm nobody. So they would tell me, but I do pry. Because sometimes people are just polite, Yeah. And no issue. Say they like at one point, stop harassing me. Everything's cool. So, and always the underline, of some of the things that we hear sometimes from Western scouts. And there's a huge difference between what the scouts can think, what the GM of the NHL can think, and then what the administration of a GM of a NHL team thinks. But I've yet to find someone to tell me that there's an issue or a problem with our league. I've yet to find it, and I'd be stupid to make that up, because I just, the GMs talk to those teams more often than I do. And is there one, maybe the language is different. Is there one or two guys that will love to see other stuff? And I hear sometimes that the OHL, for example, is too severe on suspensions. And the WHL is the least severe in suspension, and we're somewhere in the middle. So some guys say it's always like one GM comes and then we suspend the guy for 2 days, 2 games, and then he has to fly back because he was coming to see him. That might just say, oh, that league, but that's like a coach being upset at a referee when it's 1-1 with 10 minutes left. I mean, of course it's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that the ref's doing a bad job, and it doesn't mean that we are a bad league because the guy had to go through this and he's upset because he wasted a plane ticket. But that's the nature of our job. So I'm very happy with the state of where we are now from that point of view also. And believe me, I come from a research background. That's why I'm curious. I ask a lot of questions because I know the first answer is usually not the one that people really think. Because everybody wants to be polite off the bat. Because most people are decent, want to encourage you rather than discourage you. So, but when I pry, swear to God, I get to those. So there's no any major. I think we're perceived very well. We just need to keep at it.
Perfect. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time because we know you've got a pretty busy schedule today. But I will say, now that the Memorial Cup is in Quebec, we hope to have an announcement about the Maritimes here shortly in about 3 years.
Guys, that's nothing to do with me. You guys know that, right?
Absolutely. We just got to pump our team.
I want
to
make sure the listeners. So you need Dan McKenzie on this show, and you need probably the setup of the selection committee. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
That's where I come in, or the commissioner of each league comes in, like makes recommendation of who the committee should be. And I made sure this year that it's various, it's bilingual, it's from everywhere. So they know the league, they know the teams. So it's not up to me. So don't yell at me.
No
you
worries.
can yell at me for many things, not that one.
No worries. Next up, we'll get Dan McKenzie on here. We'll talk about
There you go.
Again, appreciate your time, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, thanks to our GM, Taylor McDougall, for making that happen. And then, of course, Raphael and Lauren for setting up the timing. And I guess we got to get Dan McKenzie on to talk about getting Memorial Cup here in about 3 years, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of the next. I see no point in getting the OHL commissioner, so you might as well get the CHL commissioner.
Yeah.
But no, that was a good little Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
and we were a little time constraint. I had one more question I wanted to ask him, but didn't have time to do it. So
yeah, we each had one more question. So next time we get him, we got to get him here so we can have him for we're gonna get you for an hour, sir, and we're just gonna put your feet to the coals.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. He's doing his maritime tour. He was in St. John, he was in Charlottetown, and just checking out the the teams and the venues, and gave us some news that I don't know if we're allowed to share. It's nothing major.
I mean, I would say,
but if you just don't make New Year's Eve plans for the next 5 years.
Yeah, just keep your New Year's Eve open.
Yeah, for the next 5 years. Yeah,
there's potentials, but and I like what the first question about the fighting, and again, apologize. We had an order, and I took the first question. I was like, I was so mad first of all because I got there and I had everything set up in the house and it worked perfectly, and then when I got to the boardroom up in the Wildcats office to do the interview and tested it, it was so I was stressed to the max because I hate technology. And then we're like, you know what? Let's just do it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll figure something else out down the road. It ended up working. But I do like that, it'll be Quebec rules. And I honestly don't know if we'll see a fight. I think, like you said, we saw one last year, and that was, I feel like that was London or not London. Saginaw. I think it was a Saginaw game because they were down. So it was like something you needed momentum wise, which is what fighting is all about. But he said Memorial Cup packages are sold out. So
I mean they're obviously going to release some more.
Yeah.
I think they're getting a little ahead of themselves because you have to reserve some for each team, media, billets, parents, everything like that. And then they're gonna be like, oh, we have some left. FYI, last minute ticket packages have become available.
Yeah.
It's you know what's going to happen. So, you know, to
Which
say
is
it's
what
sold
happened
out
is-
is a bit of a, you know, it's a
I think packages are sold out right now.
yeah.
Which
Single seats will become
Yeah.
available. If it's a game that doesn't involve Rimouski, there's going to be plenty of tickets available.
Yeah.
So don't, you know, for any Moncton fans, well, I don't want to say that because I might,
for any fans of any teams that aren't Rimouski,
that might want to get their hands on Memorial Cup tickets, you know,
because they got to have
don't
something
worry.
like they got to have packages available for fans of Medicine Hat or Lethbridge or Kitchener or Windsor, because to not have fans of those markets, if they get there represented, that would be a massive miss for the CHL. So I can't see them being like, nope, it's all Rimouski fans. Good luck.
Yeah, no, like it's there's no way. I mean, when I went to the 2012 in Shawinigan, I just bought a tournament pass in probably January or February. So I mean, and the rink in Shawinigan is smaller than Rimouski. So I'm sure there's going to be some that open up.
Yeah, there should be. But again, we always appreciate his time. Our second commissioner interview in the years we've done this. So
we're getting up there.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
Mr. Irving,
you're next.
Yep.
Oh, please. that is the golden interview is Mr. Irving. But yeah, I think I had one more question as well. So hopefully we can have him on, and we're getting down to it with not much time left. So maybe we'll see if we can get the CHL commissioner on before the playoffs start and have him on and make our case for Moncton, as well as many other questions. But you want to talk about our team now?
Yeah, I think that's about time we start to talk about hockey.
Weekly Rewind.
Well, I mean, we technically talked about hockey with the commissioner, but talking about our team,
our own team,
the Wildcats took both games again on the week, bringing the record to 45-9 and 2 for 92 points, which once again clinches the Maritime division. They're still first in the Eastern Conference, first in the QMJHL, and it's looking more and more like a first-round matchup with the Quebec Rempart. Friday, a bit of a slow start. It looked like Drummondville had their legs, had the jump. If not for Rudy standing tall in the first 20, could have been a different game. There's a few passes, those little short sauce passes that kind of caught a couple defensemen flat-footed. But he stood tall and allowed them to find their game in the second period. One of the better second periods I think I've seen this team play in probably about a month and a half. En route to a 4-1 victory.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's kind of got her going there with Lonsbury, his first goal of 2025 and his first since December 29th, I think it was. And now he's got, back-to-back games. So he's kind of get that monkey off his back. And I think that's what we talked about, a few weeks ago. Players drive to the net.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Preston did. Drove to the net, got his own rebound. That's what you need.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was he got the rebound before Mercer was able to cover it, and
that's what you need. Third line grind and fourth line grind, and just go bag, crash the net, and get your own rebounds. They don't have to be spectacular, pretty goals. They can be dirty goals. They're all going to count. Mm-hmm. And same thing with the second one. The Collard goal was just him in front of the net spinning around. He almost completely missed it. It was very close to it skipping under his stick, and I think he just got enough of it to get it past Mercer. So it was.
And then I think the power play one was the same thing. The Vidicek one.
Well, that was just a nasty spin around.
Turned around, spins it.
I don't know if he was intending to pass or if he was doing trying to do a fancy backhand. But it worked out. It's slow start, a lot of odd man rushes, a lot of quality chances for Drummondville early in that game, and they still had plenty of quality chances throughout the entire game. But Rudy was just, stand tall, and to this moment, I still don't know how he wasn't at least one of the 3 stars. He should have been the first star, but it's sometimes do you really watch the game or just rely on the stat sheet?
Yeah.
It's we'll see. It's he's been playing absolutely lights out,
but what more does he have to do to get a star?
That's what I'm
like.
wondering.
He didn't get one when he got the shutout against Cape Breton at home. He's had 41 saves, didn't get it in this one. Vidicek, 100% get it.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, he had an unbelievable play at the end on the too many men on the ice penalty. Lost his stick, was trying to kick it soccer style. Mm-hmm. Battling at the top of the zone, allowing Dylan Gill to score. Gill, and like Loke said to us, played a lot of minutes against
Gauthier, Woodworth, and Oliver.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who the other one was. I knew Gauthier and Woodworth.
Yeah,
they played against them the whole time. So yes, but I don't know what more he has to do to get a star.
I think his time's coming.
Yeah.
I think he's eventually going to get one here, and there's not much more he can do to really, remember we were talking about people were like, when's he going to play? When's he going to play? We need him to play. Well, we want to see him play. We want to see him get a start. Well, 11-0 now, 12-0.
12-0.
Yeah. So it's so far it looks like it's been a pretty good signing.
Yeah. That sounds like found money. And it's almost to a point, and we'll talk about it a little bit. You just confident in both goalies.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. Gardner make a tough decision, but both guys, the team has the thought in front of them. I guess what were your thoughts on Drummondville? I mean, they had a lot of chances. They had lost 2 in a row coming in.
We kept their top line off the score sheet.
Kept the top line, kept their power play off the score sheet. But then they went into Charlottetown, won 1-0, and beat Bathurst 7-1.
Yeah. And guess what? They didn't keep their top line off the score sheet.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was the difference in this game is Loke and Dylan Gill shutting down their top line. Then that's what got the win.
Yeah.
That was probably the key difference maker in that game is our top lines contributed, theirs did not. That's how you're going to win hockey games.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. In the Bathurst game, Gauthier had a goal, 2 assists. Woodworth had a goal, 2 assists, and Oliver had 2 goals.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even Charlottetown, they only allowed 1 goal, right? Like it was, they kept their top line off the score sheet.
Yeah.
But 1 goal. It was a 1-0 game. It was like Bathurst couldn't contain them. We contained them. Charlottetown contained them, but Charlottetown still lost. They just didn't. They just couldn't get a goal past Mercer.
Oh yeah, Mercer played the next one, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'd said we beat them earlier in the year, and kind of said yes. I know it was pre-trades, and they loaded up with some depth, and they have a team that. They have depth now. They send out Burrell. They send out LaRose. They've got good defense. It was such a good game. I hope scheduling stays like this. And I know it's not always going to be like this because Moncton's not going to be great in the next 2 years on a junior hockey cycle. We all know that kind of stuff. But to get a game against Drummondville and then Blainville on Saturday and then our road trip, to get playoff games is just, even if this team was middle of the pack, just the fact that they're playing hard games instead of playing 2 against Charlottetown, Quebec, Val-d'Or, teams that are not at the top level. I think this just makes things that much better. Now they've got to look at Drummondville with the players they made after the trade deadline, so they have it in their back pocket because this could be a potential 3rd round matchup. You look at Saturday. Same thing against the Armada. They're going to play them twice in a week, which this may be the latest that they played 2 Quebec teams like this. The Armada had played 3-3, but it looked like Moncton played 3-3. Sloppy line changes. One was a penalty, one directly resulting in a 4-on-1, I think, or a 2-on-1 and a goal. They couldn't get the puck in. And then how many times have we come on and said Gabe Smith was the best player on the ice when he scored a goal? And he had a shift of about 2 minutes where he was just digging and grinding and digging and grinding. And I don't know if it went off our player or went off their player, but it was a lucky bounce goal past not Harmel. Who's their goaltender? Who's got
Gladue.
was going to say Uristu. Yeah, Gladue got past him, and that just energized the building, but it also energized the team in allowing them to come all the way back. And Vidicek scoring the OT winner after a 4.5 minute shift on a penalty kill.
Yeah, I haven't seen a player take a shift like that since Connor Garland. Connor Garland,
but in a defending role, not a
But Connor Garland was known for like 2.5-3 minute shifts. But yeah, Vidicek must have played that entire penalty kill.
Yeah,
and then comes out in overtime and gets on the power play and scores the winner. It's so funny because they started better than against Drummondville, but it's almost as if they sloppy line changes, like you said, led to goals, led to turnovers. And it was that late goal by Gabe Smith that kind of, you're right, energized everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, Lansbury scored again. Got the crowd into it. Some score shorthanded. That was a great play. Very good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like both games, it was loud.
Yeah.
A lot of kids in the building. It's always going to help. But that's what we're going to need, in the playoffs, because, man, these 2,500, 3,000, games in the first round of the playoffs are tough because it's, you almost need the attendance to get to energize the team. And you could tell they were energized off the energy in the building. And
they're not winning that game if there's 3,000 people in there.
No,
if that's a round one game, they're down 1-0.
Yeah, I think so. I honestly think so. There was, it's really tough to find a turning point in that game, but
it's Gabe's shift.
Yeah,
if he doesn't have I think two other players changed around, two other Moncton players changed around him. He was, if you go back and watch it, he was in the corner, he was behind the net, he was off in there, he's making a hit, he was holding guys off, and then he just finds open space, gets a pass, and I don't know if the puck just kind of hopped on him a little bit, but the puck kind of knuckles and goes off someone and in the net. And if he doesn't have that kind of a shift, that was 4 minutes left in the second period. If they go down 3-0 in the third, I mean, teams this year, I think Moncton's 2-6, 2-7 when trailing after 40 minutes, and Blainville was 16-0. Teams in this league just do not come back from a third period deficit.
Yeah, it was a lot of things kind of fell into place. But at the same time, they battle adversity.
Yeah.
That the penalties that they had to kill in the third period. Let's call it a questionable 5-minute major on Dinoyer, with 2.5 minutes left in the third period.
Let's not even call it questionable. That's not a 5-minute major.
And then rolling 2.5 minutes rolling into overtime against the number one power play,
33%, and they went 1 for 5. And they had
a 4-on-3 opportunity for 2.5 minutes in overtime. They didn't get. They could hardly got an opportunity.
Yeah, I think.
And then we got our opportunity, and we've been begging for a power play goal.
Yeah,
and we got it in overtime. I went back and looked at the hit, and my initial reaction was, "Yeah, it's late."
Mm-hmm.
But when I said that, I was actually watching the replay, so it was slow.
Yeah.
So when I initially did a stopwatch from the moment Nobert let go of the puck to the moment Dinoyer hit him, it was 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's late.
Yeah. It was like a second.
Less than a second. From the moment Nobert let go of the puck to the moment Dinoyer is making contact.
Yeah. And was it a late hit? Sure. That's that.
Less than a second? I mean,
but looking on it, you can see it maybe was late. But the fact that it was reviewed because he was injured.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me. And it was the same. Mercier got hit from behind, pops right back up.
Yeah.
If he lays on the ice, they're looking at that.
He's bleeding too.
No, this was the other one. In the first period, he got hit from behind in the corner.
Okay.
He got hit from behind in the corner and popped right up because I think Gabe or Pekarchuk was gonna.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If he lays on the ice for a little while and Black has to come out, they're gonna review it.
Yep.
He takes a cross check in the shoulders, in the back, right into someone's ass. I think he broke his nose. That's what it looked like. He was leaking. lays on the ice. 4 officials don't see it. But because no bear, and look, if it was on the other side, I'm not discounting the injury, but if it was on the other side against the glass, it's probably just a hit.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it was against the boards and he was playing the puck, so his ribs were exposed. I think they got to make the call, the 2 minutes, but I don't. Yeah. I just don't think it should have been. It should have been a 5 at all. Luckily, he wasn't suspended. He'll be in tonight against Rimouski. Now, I did joke with you that we'll see. All of a sudden, they'll be like, well, yeah, we need him to play against Rimouski. But upon further review, he will miss the Sherbrooke game. Denway's jersey went for $1,600 in the auction. That's bidding ridiculous. For the CHL, the child game. President's Tour Superstore, that's what they're called. Which I love those jerseys.
Yeah, I thought they were really good.
A lot of people didn't like them. Obviously, the magnets and the lightning bolts
makes sense.
Magnet Hill it probably could have done without that, but a kid designed it. I loved them. I thought they were cool. They were met with mixed reactions. Atmosphere wise, the only thing I will say is, can we as fans please learn that when this team kills a big penalty, a 5-on-3 or a 5-on-4 going into overtime, can we cheer?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the audio video team has to put up their little thing to make them loud, or put something around the ring that says "Go Cats Go," or DJ Psychedelic start hitting the drum, Wild Willie start hitting the drum. But they killed that 5-on-3, and I'm like, that's a massive penalty kill. I'm clapping up in the booth. It is dead silent. Mm-hmm. Like, the team needs to feed off that.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times in the Drummondville game too that they had massive kills. Quiet.
Yeah. No, there's definitely I agree with you. It's always been an atmosphere issue in Moncton. It goes back, years.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. We just need more people. Like, there was more cheers for Buddy chugging a beer on the Jumbotron than there was after they killed that 5-minute penalty.
Yeah.
There's more cheers when a kid takes his shirt off and swings it around his head.
Camera guys, just find kids.
Yeah.
Put kids on the internet, or put kids on the Jumbotron. They love to be on there.
Yeah.
That's what gets the crowd going. I don't know if it's an age issue of most of the fans, or if it's a bilingual issue where the French don't want to embarrass themselves in front of the English, or what it is, or the English in front of the French. I don't know, but the atmosphere is pretty good after goals, but it just, I've had a couple people say that on different lives that's what it could be. I don't know what it is, but it needs to be figured out. Also in the victory, Russo didn't start well, but he hair out of your
pulling hairs out of my mouth here.
He didn't exactly start well, but he shut it down. Yeah. And one of the underrated situations, and I think it happened just before the Gabe goal, was Gardner called the timeout.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
He called it. They scored.
I actually forgotten that he called the timeout.
Yeah. He called the timeout after the 3-0 goal, and I said, kind of to myself, but out loud, like, I said to you, we're going to remove heads from asses, and we're going to play like we know how to play, and we need a save.
Yeah. And
we gall all that. Like, Russo made an unbelievable save in overtime, sliding across on the 4-on-3. Like, he was dialed in, and
it was vintage Russo.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting for. Got his 100th win, so congratulations to him. And it's kind of cool that Vidicek scored the goal for it, but now we head to Rimouski, man. Now we head to a road trip, Rimouski, Sherbrooke, and again with Blainville. And I think we may see Hamel, which is a different looking team, but this is a big one if they want to clinch first overall in the division or in the conference.
Yeah, they're gonna want some revenge here, and they're probably their worst game they've played in recent memory was that game at home against Rimouski. They had, at that time, there was a bunch of guys that were sick. So they, when a third of your roster is under the weather, it's not going to help. But at the same time, they were in it until Mr. Dwyer laid a pick on Etienne Morin, and that was the the turning point of the game. If it wasn't for that, I think we probably win that game. But yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, looking where we're at right now, we're 6 points up. A win, all but I wouldn't say all but pretty
makes
damn
the path easier.
Makes pretty well blocks up the Eastern Conference and the league points. A loss and
she gets a little tighter. Help.
Yeah. At the same time, we still have a game in hand on Rimouski.
Yep.
And our Friday night game against Sherbrooke is that said game in hand.
Yep.
So, again, if you lose, you're 4 points behind, but you have Friday night to get back up to 6.
And then we're even.
We're back where we were.
Yep.
You win, and you win. You're 10 points up, and that pretty much is it.
Yeah. Yeah. The magic number's 4. So we need 4 wins or 4 losses from Rimouski. So you get that one. You need 3 wins. So it's, the most points Rimouski can get right now is 100. So we need 8 points to secure first overall.
And is
row. And I think that's massive.
Head to head, or is it row?
I think it's row. And
row.
Right now
we've got the row.
We've got the row. We got the row. We got the regulation wins, and row is regulation overtime wins. If you're looking at it, but So and this is one where, it's funny. 47 shots against Rimouski, and Dylan McKinnon is telling us that can't happen again. That defensive effort cannot happen again.
Yeah.
43 shots against Drummondville, and to a man, Gillen Johansson were like, we liked our start, played all right. Like, it's just the difference of the style they played.
Yeah.
If they play like they did against Drummondville, we're good. You give a 3-0 lead to a team like Rimouski, like they did against Blainville. She wrote. They have lost 2 games in that building this year.
Wow, that's crazy.
And these are 2 of the hottest teams.
Yeah.
They're 8-1-1, and we're 9-1. Yeah. And then it doesn't get any easier because then you've got Sherbrooke, who is fighting for a playoff spot in that Western Conference with.
Well, they've got a playoff spot.
Yeah, but no seeding. Sorry.
Yeah.
Blainville at 71 with Shawinigan at 71 at 2-3, and then Rouyn-Noranda, Sherbrooke are both at 68. So they're battling for home ice. And then again, turn around the next night, you got Blainville on a 3. So we got them on a 3-3. They get us on a 3-4 against Rimouski and Sherbrooke.
Yeah. So it's good. This is, this, as much as we want to finish in first, this road trip will determine that. Yeah. Obviously some tough news for Rimouski, with Spencer Gill out 10 to 12 weeks, and the Memorial Cup starts in 11 weeks.
That means your baby's going to be
in
11 weeks.
A baby in 11 weeks.
That was like me when I was like, there's 4 home games till I'm having a baby. Yeah. And you've got 11 weeks.
Christ's sakes. Yeah. That's obviously tough. That's a huge loss. It's, I hate to say it, but it's almost something we've got to take advantage of. If they're losing a top 4 defenseman, they're going to have someone up there that's not going to be as experienced as Spencer Gill. So you got to take advantage of, that. I think he plays second pair in Rimouski. So could we see some Connor Sturgeon action?
That's the defenseman.
Connor Sturgeon.
I was thinking when he got injured, I'm like, that's got to suck. He was a healthy scratch all year and then gets into a couple games and injures himself. No, Spencer Gill's the good one. Yeah. Like, Spencer Gill's been there. Yeah, okay, that's the defense. That's why my brain was like, why is everybody like worried about this? Like, he was a healthy scratch from that'll do it. Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was.
I thought Spencer Gill, for whatever reason, my brain got those 2 Riverview Flyer defensemen mixed up. So I was like, well, Spencer Gill didn't play a whole lot. No, he played a lot.
Yeah, that's a key. We were watching that live.
Yeah,
right. We had that game on during the first intermission of the Moncton Drummondville game, and you saw it. and you knew something was up. Like I turned to Craig Eagles and I said, I'm pretty sure Spencer Gill just broke his ankle.
Yeah.
And you could tell just the grimacing on his face that was something serious. So that's a tough loss. We hope he.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I hope hope he heals fast, and because he's obviously a key part of their team.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to find out where he is on there. So he is what number is he? 15? Yeah, top 4 defenseman.
Yeah.
So they got Pierre-Olivier Waugh and Coughlin, and then they got Jack Martin and Spencer Gill.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Moncton Flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the game he got injured. The next one, they went Waugh and Coughlin, Jack Martin and Basile Sananonens.
Yeah, Samsonite,
their rookie, and then Theberge and Paré.
Oh, so Sturgeon didn't even play.
Sturgeon didn't even play. No. So you're looking, you go from a top 4 that could play with a lot of anyone into and I'm not taking anything away from the rookie. Rimouski's having some very good luck with a couple of rookies.
Mm-hmm.
But you take a Spencer Gill out of that lineup in a playoff run.
Yeah.
That's going to wear on your defenseman in a playoff run against
a very tough loss.
A potential of Charlottetown in round 1 that can bang bodies. Bathurst in a round 2 that can bang bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking Blainville, who is very good, Shawinigan in the next round. That's a tough road for a Memorial Cup host. That there's a bit of a curse on hosts down the road. So, but yeah, Rimouski's got us, and then they've got Charlottetown, Sherbrooke, Gatineau, Shawinigan, Quebec. So it's not a must win at all, because we still control our own destiny. If we lose this game and we continue to win, all we got to do is get to 100 points before they do, and we'll clinch first overall in the league. And that's what you want, because then you don't have to worry about anything home ice except for shows.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now, but Adam and I might have discovered something here earlier that might put a bit of a damper on some upcoming home games in the playoffs if we happen to get that to a certain round.
Yeah, I think they play the same days as us as well.
Scoreboard watching.
Yeah, and that's, again, scoreboard watching that didn't help us against Baie-Comeau, but that's a good Baie-Comeau team that they were playing. Where are we here? So we have, Rimouski, and then we have Sherbrooke, Blainville, Cape Breton, St. John, Bathurst, Halifax, Bathurst. So the final weekend, we have Halifax, Bathurst. They have Quebec.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we have St. John, Bathurst when they have Gatineau, Shawinigan. So pretty much the same nights.
Could be a tough one for them. We'll see.
And they may look at that. By the time that happens, they may look at it and go, we'll just give some guys nights off.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of where you want to be, is the ability to give some guys nights off in the playoffs.
That's not the Gardner way.
That's not the Gardner way. I know it's not. I'm not saying we probably will do that, but I will very much mention that I don't think Yuri Pekarchek should play on March 16th or March 22nd.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if you want to go with all the rest of your starters, but I 100% would not put Yuri Pekarchek in either of those games against Bathurst if you can avoid it. That's just based on the season series and how things have gone. That's me. You ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Eric Murray, realtor. Buy our house from him. Stick tap of the week.
Okay. So the stick tap of the week is, again, a friend of the show. A wonderful woman who has moved on from her Moncton Wildcats career.
Oh, yes.
Mallory Rushton. This past Saturday was her her final game as with the Wildcats organization. She's making a move overseas
for a little bit.
Yeah, overseas for a little bit. So, she's always been, a friendly, recognizable face around the Avenir Center. We saw, I think, Brett DeBourne got her some flowers If I were to got her flowers, I'd probably be getting divorced. But it's she's always been super good with us, and she came on our show and talked about women in sports and her career in hockey, and so I just thought I'd take this time to maybe not necessarily return the favor, but show our appreciation to her with the stick tap of the week, and we wish you all the best. Thank you for honestly being almost a coach in the media box, because she knows so much about the game.
Yeah.
She just sees the plays develop and she calls them out. You'd almost tell she's got almost like a color commentator or play-by-play future maybe in her pathway when it comes to hockey. So there you go. So stick tap of the week to Mallory. Good luck with all of your future endeavors.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
And that brings us to the Wildcast Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary, Lynns Massage and Spa. Right now, they've got the teeth whitening available for booking starting at $85. Book 3 15-minute sessions that are included in that price. You can add another 15 minutes for only $20. Don't forget, they have the loyalty card where you buy 9 spa services, get 1 free. Call them at 506-830-1224 or stop in at 1224 Mountain Road, as they are now accepting new clients. Oh, Captain, my captain. He's been on a tear ever since he was named captain, as Jeremy said earlier. He's got an 8-game goal streak, 9-game point streak with 11 points through those 9 games. He had the OT winner for Russo's 100th win. But on top of that, he was a penalty-killing beast. He was out there for the final 4.5 minutes of the 5-minute penalty. He was out there on one of the final penalties against Drummondville without a stick, making plays, trying to kick the puck out of the zone that allowed them to make a mistake to get it to Gill to ice the game with an empty netter. He's taken most of the faceoffs. He's just, I don't want to say he turned a corner since he got the captaincy, but since he got that, you can see the leadership, and he's like, get on my back. We're heading to where we got to go. So your Wildcats Wildcat of the Week is your captain, number 6, Marcus Vidicek. That'll do it for this week. I think the only other question I wanted to ask, and you can answer it quickly if you'd like, but Rudy against Rimouski? Because this is one of the questions I got when I went downstairs to get a 50-50.
We're going to do this tonight.
Well,
you know what?
And I said, I think, because someone was framing it, friend of the show, or listener of the show. She was like, why didn't Rudy play both games? Because that's not going to happen. You need to play both guys.
Yeah.
And I said, they're like, well, I think Rudy's the number 1 goaltender. Like, I know they brought in Russo, and they weren't snarky about it. They just were wondering. And I said, I think your starter against Rimouski is probably your number 1 goaltender.
And I was literally just going to say the same thing. I think whoever starts against Rimouski is your number 1. It's the biggest game of the season.
Yep.
When I used to work at McDonald's back in the day, we had a saying called aces in your places.
Yep.
And if you're going to if you want to go up against the best team, the biggest game of the year, you got to have your best lineup. So you have your ace in your place, and that means your number 1 is going to be your number 1.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's what I framed to her. I said, whoever starts this one, I believe will be the number 1, and I believe will likely start game 1 of the playoffs, barring anything. But yeah, thanks again to the commissioner of the QMJHL, Mario Cecchini, for joining us. We always appreciate the time we have with him. Playoff packages are now available for season ticket holders. They also have the Flex pack that are available now. Flex 16 pack, you might want to get those. Probably going to have more than a couple rounds of playoffs, I would assume. So go to the website to get those, or give them a call at 382-5555. And 3 home games left. 3 regular season home games left in the next 2 weeks. So if you have unused tickets, redeem them now before the end of the season. And if you don't and you want to go and you're a Hometown Rewards member, you get a discount until March 21st. And if you don't have that Hometown Rewards app, go and get it. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.